everyone, this is Angela, and you're listening to Homeschool Unrefined, the podcast where we keep homeschool simple, real, and fun.
And this is Marin. You've got episode 126, where we begin with deschooling. And we are going to get to that topic in just a few minutes, but first, we just want to say hello, welcome back. We've been on a little bit of a break, and it is so good to be back.
So good to be back.
It really does feel like coming back to just our regular routine again.
I know.
Great.
I feel like that's the longest break we've taken.
It is
ever.
I missed it. Yeah,
in like over 3 years.
It was maybe a little too long. I mean, I know we needed it. We needed it.
Yeah. So hello to all of you listeners. We're so glad to be back with you. A special hello to our Patreon supporters. Mm-hmm. If you are interested in supporting us on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/homeschoolunrefined. We have lots of new patrons. So we just want to shout them out. And thank you for supporting us. Marcella, Lisa, Erica, New Day, Niyurka, Jenny, and Katie. Mm-hmm. Thank you for supporting us.
Mm-hmm. You're making it happen.
Yep.
Making this happen for us. So thank you. First of all, maybe we should just talk a little bit about our podcast because we probably have a lot of new listeners. Welcome if you're new. And thank you for being here. If you keep coming back, we love having you every week or whenever you get a chance to listen to us. We love it. We love that so much. And we love your feedback. A little bit about our podcast. Angela and I are here to change the conversation about homeschooling. And we want to change it from what we should do and what we need to be doing more of and more of and more of to what are you already doing? Let's notice the great things that are already happening today and in your life, in your homeschool, about you. What's great about you and how can you rock those strengths? And it really, I don't know, it just takes such pressure off. It takes pressure off of me when I think of my homeschool like that. And we've heard from lots of other people that it just helps so much to not put all the pressure on us to do everything perfectly, but to just feel good about where we're at right now.
For sure. And if you like hearing that, which I like hearing that, I like hearing us say it. I need to hear that too. Mm-hmm. We're going to be basically talking about that today, kind of. That's basically our whole conversation today.
Definitely. Yep.
So
And
get ready.
It seems like, in some form or other, we talk about that in every podcast.
It's a thread
on
woven
a different
through.
topic. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a new year. And we decided to simplify our Patreon community. So in case you're unfamiliar, Patreon is a separate platform where we can connect on a deeper level with some of you who want that kind of support and connection. We used to have 2 different levels. It was great, but a little bit confusing. We've simplified it to just one level. It's $5 where you can get all the rewards if you support us at $5. So for that $5 a month, you will get 2 extra new episodes per month. One, we do a check-in where we talk about how things are going for us. It's a little bit homeschool, a little bit personally. Mm-hmm. And one LTW extra where we share all the extra things we're loving that don't make it onto our regular episodes. Mm-hmm.
And these have become listener favorites, I think.
I think so. I think listener favorite or supporter favorites and then
yes.
My favorites.
Yes, me too. I know.
So what's great about these is they will come right into your podcast app on a separate feed. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to go to a separate website or download a different app or anything to use them. They'll just come right into your feed. Also, the great thing about these episodes is they are running every month, whether we are on a break or not.
Right.
You will for sure get these 2 extra episodes a month.
Exactly. So like this last month when we were doing throwback episodes on our main podcast feed, we were working hard on our Patreon for our Patreon community who they pay to be there, and we really want to show them the love for that. So we are really committed to that community.
For sure.
We love getting to know them, and it's just like this podcast is just so near and dear to us, and it's so great to like know people who also feel the same way,
Right. Meeting like-minded friends.
Exactly.
Yep. Also, you get, as being a supporter, you get extended more personal guest interviews. So every time we have a guest on, we go an extra probably 15 to 20, 30 minutes with that guest, and we put it in our Patreon feed.
Yes.
So you can hear more there from that guest. We also have a new supporter only Facebook group.
Right.
If you want to connect on a deeper level with other supporters.
Yeah, and that is brand new for many of you. So if you are a patron, go find that group and look for the message on Patreon to show you how to do that, because that's going to be a really great place, I think.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah, we sent a message on Patreon, so you should have gotten that. You can click on that link. We also are committed to having our patrons hear first about everything. So every new thing that we're doing or any announcements, you patrons are the first to know.
Yep.
You also get a discount on classes. And this is the best part. Probably the best part, in my opinion. If you join now, we've been doing this a year and a half. You get all 18 months of our back episodes with your join right now. So, I mean,
just keep those earbuds.
I think it's worth it.
Just keep them in.
Yeah. Yeah. So we hope you join us over there. Please check the show notes, or you can go to patreon.com/homeschoolunrefined.
Yeah. All right, Angela. Oh, I'm so excited to be back. How are you doing? Anything new going on that we haven't caught up on yet?
Well, okay, it's January, and January's off to a slow start for me. We were on a little family vacation to Arizona for end of December, beginning of January. Then we got home, and my daughter had a birthday, which was great. The day after her birthday, all my kids got really sick.
Oh, no.
And they're still sick. It's been
it's
been longer than I wanted, and they're still sick.
Oh,
so
no.
we are moving slowly and haven't really gotten started on anything academic except, nothing academic.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten started on anything academic. We've just been doing a lot of watching movies, listening to audiobooks, sometimes playing a game if we can rally everybody.
Yeah.
But it's just been a lot of family time, which I like. I really like it, that part of it. But it's going to feel good to get everybody back to normal. So it's been a weird, different January for us.
But good job just listening to what your family needed and slowing down.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's important.
And, I have I mean, on the one hand, I'm enjoying parts of this.
Yeah.
My teens are needing me.
Yeah. No, it doesn't happen very much anymore.
I know. And so I'm kind of enjoying that, getting them things and having them be hanging out with us, but not that they're sick.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, how about you? I know you've had a busy time.
So if you're new to the podcast, we have been traveling for the last 5 months. Over 5 months now. And so we landed in Austin, Texas on New Year's Eve. And so we've just been slowly making our way to feeling like home. This is going to be our longest stay, 5 months. So we're kind of actually taking more time to settle in, actually. We've been doing 1 month stints in a lot of places, which so we kind of feel like, okay, we got to settle in real quick and get to know the city and find all the things, and kind of feels like a really long not vacation. I don't want to say each place felt like a vacation, but it felt like we got to hurry and do all the touristy things now.
Yeah.
And so here we kind of feel like we can just unwind and finally just breathe. And so it's felt very good in that way. So our kids are, the only thing is, so when we came to Austin, we decided our goal was to plug into communities. That's been our the thing that we've all missed is knowing people and meeting people. So we're working hard on that. So it kind of feels like our main job right now is getting plugged in kind of quickly because things are starting up. So we're working it's kind of everything had to be kind of put on fast forward in that way. But we're enjoying just kind of unwinding in Austin too. So
yeah. And I'm telling you, you're missing lots of snow. So
My kids,
I
my
keep
kids are
thinking
sad
about
about
you.
it.
They are?
Oh yeah, they're so sad that they're missing snow.
Okay.
But also when we're out hiking and it's 60 degrees,
I know.
you know, or we're sitting on a porch, like in the library. Did you see that picture?
I know.
I
know.
I want you to come and see this library.
Well, I am going to come
I
visit,
know. So I was thinking, I can't wait till Angela comes and sees this. It's just, you know, this beautiful, I mean, just we're sitting out and reading on this beautiful deck, and it's, you know, and that's what I'm like, you guys, it's 15 degrees in Minnesota today. So just enjoy this.
They are remembering the fun snow times.
They are.
And not like the hard snow times. Like, my lower half of my driveway, it kind of slopes down a little bit. It's pure ice. I have my chain boots on.
Oh yeah.
And I still am worried about slipping going down this driveway even just like get on a walk. And like yesterday, I didn't even go outside once. Now I know I have sick kids and stuff, but I didn't get outside because I was like, every time I thought about trying to make my way down that driveway, I just like
not worth it. Not worth it.
Not worth it.
I know. I get it. I get it.
And then all your muscles tense up, and it's just hard.
I was thinking that my daughter and I went to a movie last night, and we came out of the movie theater, and it was like room temperature out, and I was like, we would be so cold going back to our car, and then we'd have to heat it up. And then, you know, scrape the windows. So I keep saying that because, you know, our kids really do miss home. They do. They really miss home. And so I always like to point out the good things about where we are.
They're not shoveling. My kids are complaining about shoveling. Jeremy's going to be gone this week. And I just saw the forecast is like multiple times of snow all week.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, thanks. Now I'm going to have to snow blow like every couple days.
Oh, man.
While he's gone, which is fine. Yeah. Like, it's just... It never comes at a good time. It's always a surprise. You need to take an hour or two.
I'm going to give you the phone number of the company who used to come and do our
oh, really? Yeah, I could. I don't know why I feel guilty about that.
You do that one time and you'd be like, this is my new life. This is my new life. I'm not kidding you. Somebody is doing this for me. Anyway.
Yeah.
We need to move on. We have this topic, deschooling, is... I mean, we talk about it a lot personally, and we've talked about it in parts of other podcasts, but this is such a huge topic, and I'm so excited to dive into this.
Right. And I have to say, so we have a friend and patron, Jill Jarvis, who approached us at the Brave Learner Conference and said, I think you need to do an episode on deschooling. And we kind of were like, have we done that? Haven't we done that? And we kind of looked back, and it turns out, no, we've never done like an episode on deschooling. We've talked about it throughout several episodes.
I think the one episode that sticks out to me is the episode called Where We Stage an Intervention. I mean, it's way back there. It's probably 2.5 years ago. I mean, it's a long time ago. But I remember talking about deschooling specifically in that episode. Yeah. It just wasn't the whole episode. But yeah, it did get us going though. It got us going.
Jill was saying like she'd love to have a resource to point people to who are needing to deschool, and there just aren't any books or podcast episodes or anything like, you know, really digging into this. And so she was right. And so thank you, Jill.
Yes. Yes.
We consulted her on this episode, so we appreciate you, Jill.
By the way, we always love suggestions for episodes too, because you are in it. You are in this, and you probably, you know, you listening, you probably know more than anybody what we all need to hear. So let's,
for sure.
I mean, we'd love to hear from you too.
For sure.
All right. So maybe we'll start with what is deschooling? Some people are like, what are you even talking about? There could be so many meanings for this word. And we're going to maybe just narrow it down to like what we're talking about here today. It can mean something different for you, and that's totally fine. So Angela, what are we going to talk about today?
So I feel like it means a couple different things, but they're super related, and they're actually the same thing.
Okay. Tell us what you mean.
Okay. So I feel like what a lot of us think about when we think about deschooling is after you, like, let's say you've been in traditional school and then you decide to homeschool. Or let's say you've never been in traditional school and you're homeschooling at the beginning. There is a period of time where it can be weeks to months long, where you take to kind of deprogram yourself from the traditional school environment, the traditional academic environment, right?
Yep.
So usually what I've heard people talk about this is it's like kind of a defined time. So someone will say like, well, I'm starting to homeschool. I'll see this a lot of times in Facebook groups. I'm starting to homeschool on Monday. What curriculum should I use? And a lot of people will comment and say, don't forget to deschool. You're going to need a period of time where your child, it's usually focused on the child, is just deprogramming themselves from that academic environment.
Right.
And so that's, I think, one definition. Another definition that we talk about more often, I think, is like as parents and children, we are continually deschooling.
Yes.
Which is like continually reprogramming our mind to like, what does learning look like? It doesn't always have to look academic or like school or like in a classroom or what a teacher would do.
Right.
But it can look other ways too.
Yeah.
And so it's a continual process. So I think it's both. I think it's a thing you do right away, especially if your kids have been in traditional schools. It's a thing you should do right away. But it's also something that you're kind of always doing to reprogram yourself. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I think you said it so well. I didn't even want to interrupt you because that is exactly it. I mean, and then somebody else might be thinking of maybe even going deeper and deeper on that. And I think that's so great too. I just think that's what we're going to talk about today. Like we're going to talk about a specific time period and then also like how we deschool kind of throughout also.
Right.
We're going to go through, and because it is kind of the same thing. It's just sometimes the timing of it. Like, is it a full-fledged like 6 weeks or 3 months or whatever? A year, you could have a specific time, or it could just be like, we are continuously, or maybe you do that for 3 months and then you gradually bring things in and you're not really officially deschooling anymore, but like every day at some point you're asking yourself these questions or, it might look different for everyone.
Right.
So,
right. Definitely. It can take, I feel like that traditional school mindset and the thought that learning happens in school.
Yeah.
That takes months or years to undo. And I don't know that you can ever really undo that.
Exactly.
I feel like it's kind of like the water or the air we're breathing. It's like all over, right? You've really grown up with it. It's just there.
Exactly.
And it's hard to undo those thoughts, especially when 95% of the population is doing it.
Exactly. And like my husband and I even talk about this just like with like parenting or with relationships. I mean, we know what we don't want to do. We've seen, like we've grown up in a way that we want to change.
Yeah.
So in our minds, we're like going to do this differently. And then so often we find ourselves going back to those things and we're like, oh my goodness, like how did I get here? I specifically said I wasn't going to do this. But and that's, I think we've been just kind of, immersed in this culture. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For years, generations. So it's not something that just easily gets flipped off or on like a switch. So.
Right. So, give yourself grace because this is not like after 6 weeks, I'm going to be fixed or like, I'm going to have a new mindset.
Change my mind on everything and it's going to look great.
I think for me, it has taken years and I still have a traditional school mindset a lot of times.
Me too. What, maybe we can talk about what deschooling might look like.
Right. Especially in that first few months or year or weeks or however long you think you need to take. What would that look like for you, Marin?
Well, okay. So for me, I think it would probably look like not having curriculum necessarily.
Okay. Yep.
Because I think it would look like more like interest-led learning, meaning, and I think that's because, and we're going to talk about this later, like our kids have to learn that learning is like natural and fun, and it can be fun and interesting. And I think sometimes like that kind of gets killed, when there's a lot of, you have to do this and you have to do that. We forget that learning is like what you do all the time. So for me, it would be like kids are learning by doing the things they love to do. And I don't mean like it's a free for all and there's no limits, but I mean like, if they want to build forts with boxes all day long, that might be a great thing for them to do. And there's maybe not a limit on how long they can just do that. Lots of playtime, I guess I would say, and if I think I often think of it as a time where there's like not a bunch of like headbutting, like I need you to do this, I don't want to do this, but you have to, like if there is a time, if that is happening, then like there's more of a discussion, or like I want to understand why you don't want to do this, or why I think I need to make you do this. There's maybe more natural reading happening, like reading, writing, math, anything. All the learning happens. Like I remember a period of time when my daughter just made restaurants. It was her thing. She made a restaurant, and she'd make all the food and put it out on the table and put prices on everything and get the cash register, and all our other kids, and we'd all come up and like buy something from her restaurant, and there would be money exchange or fake money or whatever, and then there would be cleaning up, and so like there was reading involved, writing, math, a lot of life skills, cooking, measuring. Just so many things were happening. And I think what happens, what I see during deschooling is like that kind of stuff happening because she wanted to do it. Right. And I didn't stop her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like that is a great reason not to jump into a curriculum. I think another, and I really want to stress this because I just hear a lot of parents, like the first question they have when they decide to homeschool is like what curriculum to use. And they're worried about picking the right one right away. And I think it's really good to hold off because you are going to be getting to know your child again. And I know we're all great parents. Like we're all really good parents. We're all conscious, and we know our child. But when your child is in school, you know them in a certain way. You know them in the school way, right? Right. And maybe your child has never had that much freedom at home to be really dig into their interests, and so now they are going to hopefully be doing that. And I think after a few months, maybe you can start thinking about what curriculum might be best in consultation with your child after you see like where your child's interests and like strengths and weaknesses are starting to play out.
Right.
And I just think it's a lot of headache or heartache to pick that curriculum, start it, and then it maybe doesn't work. And then you're like, oh, I failed. Okay, I got to pick another one. I picked the wrong one. Okay, I got to pick another one. And it might not be that you picked the wrong one. It might be that you're just starting it too early or too soon.
Yep, for sure. And like kids need to relearn how to like spark that joy of learning again. And they also need to be credited for the learning that they do while they're playing or building a Lego set or, cooking or whatever. Like they need to feel like that's valuable. And I think a lot of times we say, well, we don't give it the value that it deserves. And so they feel like, well, they don't feel valued for it. So they might not even pick doing it at first because they're like, well, that's just like something, like less important. And so they need to kind of learn that this is actually a really good, valuable thing and go for it. Like just go for it.
Right. And having that parent support is so important. Also, it's just, I think it's harder for them because all of their friends or most of their friends are, like I said, most of the culture doesn't value that and values like learning in a classroom. And so it is hard for them. I think we need to like I've had to really give my kids grace when they like don't seem to see the value in things that I see the value in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I'm telling them, like, this is great. This is a lot of work. You're learning a lot. It's hard for them to see that.
Right.
Because they are so...
Nobody
even though they've
else
always
has
been
told
homeschooled.
Yeah, nobody else has told them that, though. It's, it's
right.
counterculture.
I'm the only one saying it.
Yeah.
And they're starting to think like, Mom, does she really know?
Yeah. It's just practically wise. So what really has helped me is to set up this kind of time for my kids, is to kind of set up my environment, the environment in my home, so that it's not like, because I can see parents going, oh my gosh, this would drive me crazy. Like, there's just too many things that they could do that I don't want them to do. And I don't want them to be on video games all day or whatever, But so I think setting up the environment, creating a set of like parameters, like you can do this, or, there are some things that are limited. Here are the things, and this is why, or this is, when and where you can do those things or whatever. And then also setting up like the environment around you. What do you want your kids to be doing? Get those things out and open. Like get those things out and open. Even for older kids, like put the games out on the table or whatever. Like I think we think of that as for little kids, like, preschoolers, kindergartners, they have like little shelves with all their toys on it, right? But we all need that. Like we need to, we need easy access to the stuff we really are encouraged to be doing, or otherwise it's just not going to happen. Like, that's just too much work. I don't want to get the paint set out.
And then I forgot about it. I forgot because it's in a closed cupboard.
Yeah. Or you always get mad at me when I make a mess. So why would I take that out? Like, or, so just like set it up so that if they make a mess in a certain area, at a certain place, or, put the plastic thing on the table or whatever, or there's a certain table for that, so that you can set up a positive experience for those kind of things. Yeah. And it's not too much work for you. It's so key.
I love that so much. In addition to setting up your environment, I would set up a routine of some sort. It might be a daily routine, like, and I don't mean schedule, but I just mean like, here is the rhythm of our day. Like we get up, we eat, we do some chores, we have some free time.
Yeah.
And we choose between these things for our free time.
Yeah.
Then we eat lunch together or whatever. On Mondays, we go to the library.
Yeah.
And then we get a coffee when we're there. Or on Thursdays, we go for a nature walk. Or maybe we take the dog for a walk every day. Whatever it is, whatever is important to you. But I would recommend lots of nature just because that can really get our senses flowing. And we've done lots of episodes on that. But as much as you can do nature, I would do nature or getting outside.
It's like a nervous system balancer. Just everything kind of just it's equal. Makes everything equal in your body. I don't know.
Right.
It's just it just feels so calming and like back to normal.
For sure. And then I would say also as many adventures as you can or want to do, whether that's going to museums or nature things or getting together with friends or going to a play or whatever.
Yeah.
Do those kinds of things because now you have the time.
Yeah. Or like I know you love going to, I do too, love going to movies. Right?
Oh yeah. We go to movies on Tuesday, $5.
And you have placed value on that.
Yeah.
There is so much learning happening in movies.
There's so much learning happening in movies. And I feel like it's like a book, but it's coming alive. There's a great storytelling. Great storytelling that's happening. And so because I'm kind of a movie person, I've, instilled that in my kids too. I've showed them my interest in movies.
Yes, I love that because that is something that like I think there can be shame around something like that. Like, oh, I just want to watch a movie all day. I want to watch movies all day. I feel so bad as a parent, as a homeschool parent. I need to get all these other things done where you're embracing that and like finding the value. And actually you are allowing more learning to happen during those movie times. Like if you kind of like shut that part of yourself down and then your kids are maybe going to watch a movie anyway, they feel bad about it and they're like, that's a waste of time. And then they maybe don't get as much out of it, but you're like kind of opening it up for them, like opening this learning opportunity up for them in a fun way, in an awesome way.
Right.
So great.
I love it.
I love that too. Okay, so let's move on to why we do this. And I know we've kind of intertwined what it looks like with why we're doing it because it's so natural. Yeah. But why do you think this is important, Angelo?
Well, okay, first of all, I want to say that I think this is you are deschooling for the kid, the learner, and the parent.
Yes.
For both people. Both people need this deschooling process. And, I know that the child is the one who's being homeschooled. And so it can seem like that's the most important. But also the parent is the one who's had more years of this like enculturation of like school. Is enculturation a word?
I don't know. We'll make it a word.
All right. Of the fact that learning happens in school. So I think it's equally important for both people to be on this journey, which is going to look different. I think one of the main reasons that this is important is because our brain needs the space. It needs the space to think about what our true interests are. I think when you are in school, you have a limited framework for what your interests might be.
Yep.
It's like, am I interested in math or writing?
Yep.
Am I interested in science or
music,
social studies
or
music or whatever? There are 5 to 8 things that you do in school regularly that might be of interest to you.
Yep.
But once you are homeschooled, there is a plethora, and the sky's the limit. Anything's an interest. And so I feel like it takes our brains time to really think beyond what we've been taught and think about what those other interests are.
Totally. And I love that space to think because if somebody is building a fort or Lego set or making a restaurant in their kitchen or whatever, there is time to go deep into that. And their brain can imagine things and explore their own, their own limits. Whereas when you have a structured day full of curriculum led by a parent, there's just no room for the child to explore their own thoughts. And I think this can change the trajectory of their lives. I was thinking the trajectory of their homes, your future homeschool, but it can change the trajectory of their lives. They may think of something that they love to do so much that it's at some point turns into a career. You know what I mean? In some little way. Some little way.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, they're not going to become fort builders. I know that. But there's something about that thing that they did every day for 6 hours every day that can translate into a lifelong love of a career. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's something.
Well, yeah. And they might be getting excited about learning again. If they're allowed to do that thing that they're into, whatever it is, if they're allowed to explore, they're going to be excited about it. You mean I can do anything? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do anything. What do you want to do? What are you interested in?
Right.
They will then be excited about learning. And they will, I feel like that excitement and love for what you're doing is the key. Yeah. I mean, that is the key because then so much more learning happens.
Yes.
Right. If they hate it, but they're doing it anyway, or if they kind of like it, or if they're resent it, or if they feel like they're doing too much of it, or if they're bored of it, they're not really going to be learning it anyway.
I know.
So you need to, yeah.
And I know. I think I've always thought it's so funny that I always think it's so funny when people have science tests or something, and I'm like, science tests? I mean, I get you need to know facts about certain things or history tests or whatever. I get you need to know dates and facts or whatever. But
do you?
I mean, but that's the beginning. If you need to know those facts for bigger thinking. Yeah. You need to know those facts sometimes so that you can do bigger thinking. But science to me is the scientific method. And that happens.
Exploring.
That happens when you're out in the backyard. Exactly. Yeah. That happens naturally every single day. So we learn more how to learn when we're doing things we love to do.
For sure.
And it doesn't matter what that thing is. It's just the habit of learning. It's the habit of learning.
Yes.
And so do that however you want to do that. Right. There's so many ways. Right. It's you almost have to train your kids to do that though. They aren't going to just naturally, explore if they haven't been in that habit. So this is not something that you may just see on your first day of deschooling. They might just be bored. They might just be like, I'm so bored. Yeah. So it's just something that you have to be okay with, like, getting there.
Well, you have to give them the time. Give them the gift of time for figuring that out. No, in the first day or week, they are not going to know. They are still thinking, like, am I going to do math? Or, like, what are we doing here? Or what's my homework? Or so, I mean, it does take, this is going to take a while.
It is, yes. And I would say the other big reason is to concentrate on connection with your child, because when kids feel safe and loved, I mean, that is like a basic core need that I think sometimes borderline our kids have. I mean, you know, like, we have it, but like, as much as they, you know, kind of absolutely need it sometimes. And I think I mean, the more they have that in abundance, like, the higher they're going to go. Like, it's just it's just a bigger foundation, a stronger, solid foundation. And the higher that skyscraper is going to get built, you know, like,
right.
I mean, why not make it the best connection?
Right. And I know many of us start homeschooling for that reason.
Yeah.
You know, I think that was one of my main reasons, right? And so you can't lose sight of that, that is your connection is one of the top benefits of homeschooling. You get to see them more.
I just think I should put this on my kitchen cupboards, like, connection everywhere, because I need reminders. This is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm doing this. Because it changes everything also.
Right.
So,
definitely.
One other thing, I think sometimes we worry a lot when our kids are just like to do one thing. They just like to do something, or they like to listen to one audiobook or read one book, and they just keep reading it, or they keep doing this one thing over and over again, but they love it. But I just wonder, like, would you be worried if they went deep into their math curriculum? You know what I mean? Like, if they finished all of their 6th grade curriculum in the first month of school, like, would you be like, oh, they have to do other, you know, like, they should, you know, you'd be like, oh my gosh, they are awesome at math. This is so great. But I feel like sometimes when it's not a curriculum or an academic thing, then we worry about their deep interests. And I just want to say it kind of goes along with what we were just talking about. Deep thinking is deep thinking. So going deep into a Harry Potter book that they've read 7 times is amazing.
They're getting so much more out of it each time.
Right. So, like, let them keep going.
Right. For sure.
So
I love that.
That's one thing I think is such a great benefit of this deschooling time, is letting them go deep.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway.
Okay. So what is next? Like, after you feel like you've maybe done that time, whether that's going to be different for everybody, it might be a year.
Yes.
It might be a year for you.
Yes.
You might take that first year and do that. It might be a few months, whatever your whatever amount of time you take. What's next after that?
Yeah, I know. This is like where we kind of feel lost. I think sometimes we feel lost. We're like, well, I can deschool, but like, then what? What do we do? Well, I liked how we talked about at the beginning of this episode where, you know, there's this other deschooling that you can do continuously. And I think that's a really important thing to do. Continuously deschool yourself, meaning, like, go back to these reasons why you're deschooling and ask yourself, like, is what I'm doing now good for my child? Is it, you know, am I giving them time to have space to think? Am I letting them go deep in some things? And so even, you know, when you do add in your own curriculum or whatever you've decided, like, are your kids still able to do these things that they naturally do on their own?
Right. Right. Do you still have time for that? Are you still giving and making time for that and prioritizing that stuff? And because you're right, at some point you are probably going to add in some curriculum, and hopefully, I would say, do that slowly.
I think that's a really good tip.
Slowly. Yeah. Add in a little thing at a time. And if it doesn't work, it's okay. Put it away, try the next day. Or you might want to try something new. Whatever it is, you're collaborating with your child. But yes, you want to always make sure then that you are valuing the things that they are really interested in too.
Right. Yeah. And I I think our husbands both are own companies, right? And they both say like what do they say? Slow to hire, quick to fire. And that's what I say about curriculum. Be slow to hire a curriculum for yourself and be quick to end it if it's not working for you. It's not the thing you need to keep if it's not working for you. Curriculum and technology, I always say, should be working for you. You should not be working for it.
For sure. That's so good, Maren.
Yep. That
is so good. I think another thing that you should keep doing is keep learning about yourself and your children and your strengths. That is a continual lifelong path that that we're both on.
Definitely.
And that can only help like expand and narrow the choices that you make in your homeschool. So I would really encourage you to do that. We have a lot of episodes on this, on personality typing, which we are really into.
We really are.
If you've been around, you know, and it has really helped us with our homeschooling. Absolutely. So we have a lot of episodes, which we'll put links to those in the show notes. For you to get started if you're new here. But,
and then I was just going to say also, don't use your status as an adult as a weapon. And what I mean by that is don't use just because you're an adult doesn't mean you should just say what goes all the time. It's so important for you to be building up your children rather than like imputing things on them. Make decisions that will be good for all of you, not just for you, not just for them, because then you're dying a little inside and then, that falls apart too. So it needs to be healthy for everyone. It needs to be a good fit.
Yeah, Maren, and making those decisions in collaboration.
Yep.
I can't believe when you wrote that down, don't use your status as an adult as a weapon. That's so good. That is so good.
Yeah. Thanks.
I said, where'd you hear that? And you said, I thought it in my head.
In my own head. Well, I think I'm talking to myself here. It probably came from some decisions I made this week myself,
Yeah.
And I was telling myself that I can't do that. It backfires. It breaks the connection. So that connection that you built so hard, I was telling myself this week, that connection that you worked so hard to build, like just broke a little bit. And it's work to build it back. And it's like, I have to learn, like, it's just not worth it. So make decisions that are good for everyone. And know that you are the adult. So it's, not like the kids get to make all the decisions. You are the wise adult. So you get to decide. You are the one who are like, you've been put in charge of raising these kids up to be the best people they can be. So it's not for them to be like rule followers, or not for them to be, copycats, or, like for them to be their own self, their own personal human being. And that's different for everyone. It's definitely not a rule that you can just follow and do for each person. So
I would say the last thing that you should do is surround yourself with like-minded people. I think that's when you're just starting homeschooling, I think it's really hard to find your group of people. And I think because you might know one other person who homeschools and you're just like kind of latching onto them, like, tell me what you do. And then as you define your style, you are maybe realizing, oh, that person might not be the best fit for me. And you got to, thankfully, there's so much information online and you can find lots of kind of people. So find your like-minded people. We have a Facebook group. If you find that this is your kind of people.
Yeah.
We're your kind of people. You can join our Facebook group. We'll have that in the show notes. It's called Unrefined Homeschoolers, so we'd love to have you there.
Definitely.
And then just lastly, we have some resources. We're going to put those in the show notes because we have kind of run out of time.
Yes.
But our biggest resource is all of our other episodes.
Exactly.
Because we talk about this topic so much.
Yes.
So just, keep listening to the back catalog. And if you have been a listener or a longtime listener and you know somebody who is just starting out on their homeschool adventure, this would be a great episode to have them start with.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, for sure.
So feel free to pass that along.
Yep. All right. Let's move.
We did it.
I know, we did it. Let's move on to LTWs. Loving this week. Here we go. Angela, what are you loving this week?
My loving this week is CBD salve.
Ooh.
I kind of can't believe it took me this long to get to this place where I'm using CBD salve, but I think because I knew CBD oil would mean that I had to do some research because I know it's complicated a little bit. Yep. I know there's a lot of things to learn. I think that's why I kind of put it off. But then you I
didn't do any research. And I just dove in.
You dove in and you gave me a little bit when you were here on Thanksgiving. You gave me a little bit of salve and you said, just put this on your neck before you go to bed. So I had like a week's worth of it or whatever. Yeah. It was amazing. I have the tightest neck. It is so tight that every time I go into any practitioner, they can't believe how tight it is. It's so tight. I don't know what's going on. I think it's years of bad posture and abuse, right?
Yep.
And I need my neck to relax. I need it to relax, and no matter what I've tried, can't get it to relax. So this CBD salve has been helping my neck to relax and other parts of my body. Like it's working for my hip too, and I'm not even putting it on my hip.
What?
I can tell. Like my hip is much more relaxed than normal. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm sleeping better at night. It's the other thing.
That was a big change for me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I slept so deeply the first night I tried it. I couldn't believe it.
I know. I was having sleep issues. I mean, I've had kind of chronic sleep issues, and I had been having really bad sleep issues, like up every half an hour to an hour just to roll over or whatever. Now I am not. I still wake up every once in a while, but it's not. It's more like I get this deep sleep, which is amazing. So anyway, I did research on after you gave me that little bit, then I was like, okay, now I had some motivation to research. So I did some research online, and there's different kinds of strengths and stuff. So what I got was from Humble Roots Medicinals.
Okay.
And it's a full spectrum salve. So full spectrum means it contains less than 0.3% of THC.
Yeah.
If you don't want the THC, you can also get the kind without. So
awesome. Yeah.
They're different kinds, but the kind I got has a little bit the less than 0.3% of THC.
Yeah.
So, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. I'm committed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you use it every night now, or when do you use it?
I use it every night.
Yeah.
Before bed.
But you don't need much.
I don't need much. Just a little bit. Rub it in there.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Are you still using yours?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm loving it.
Good. All right. So what is your official LTW this week?
Okay. So my LTW is a new kind of ice cream that is available at Target, and it's an Oatly ice cream.
Oh.
So do you know there's Oatly milk, right?
Yep.
And I use that in my coffee. I use that as my creamer.
Okay.
And I absolutely love it. And I know it's not as thick, right? But I love it. It's not as thick as like a cream. But if you use the little frother,
yep,
feels like cream.
Okay.
Anyway, so I use that I've been using that in my coffee for maybe a year or so. And I just discovered they now have Oatly ice cream.
That's awesome.
It is amazing. It is the best ice cream I think I maybe have ever had in my life.
What?
I'm not even.
Better than dairy? Not better than dairy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Maybe because I like ice cream. I've never been a huge fan of ice cream, mostly because my tummy doesn't like ice cream at all. Like I can, I can have it once in a while, but like I usually get very sick. My stomach just cramps up from ice cream for some reason. But Oatly ice cream, not even at all. And it's the creamiest, smoothest ice cream ever.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's so
I'm going to
amazing.
try it. Next shipped order.
Yes. So, yeah, good luck, though, because I put it in my last shipped order and they didn't have it. And my shipped shopper said, when I saw you had Oatly ice cream on your list, I was a little worried because it's out a lot.
Oh.
Because it's so popular.
What kind of flavors do they have?
So they first just started with vanilla, I think. We had gotten vanilla a couple times, and now they have strawberry and chocolate.
Oh, wow.
And I have to say, I'm not usually a strawberry fan, but this strawberry ice cream is my favorite. It's my favorite of the three, for sure.
That's amazing. I'm loving this. I'm loving that places are getting on board with more non-dairy options, because I can't do dairy.
Yeah, at all.
And I can't do dairy. Yep. Yeah. And so when we went to Arizona, my kids, for some reason, when we're in Arizona, they want to do froyo like all the time. And I don't know if Minnesota has froyo. I think they do. It's just my kids don't know it. Yeah. They don't know that. They associate it with like going somewhere warm. Yeah. And so I was actually impressed, because when you go to froyo down there, there's they have a lot of choices for non-dairy, and they're good. Yeah. They're good. They taste good. So I'm just happy with this trend, and I'm happy that I really love Oatly milk. So
I do too.
I'm happy that places are trying different things with different kind of milks and like different kind of combinations to make things taste good.
Yes, because the more people do it, the better it's going to get. Like, it has to start somewhere. It started bad. It started bad. It just wasn't, nothing was good. Now things are getting really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you for alerting me.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Okay, and then one quick, little tiny LTW is, I'm just going to have to add this because I just discovered this again, rediscovered it, is apple cider vinegar, and I'm using it, kind of as a conditioner in my hair.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. I forgot. I used to use it a lot. I think I washed my hair with baking soda and then rinsed with vinegar for a long time. And my hair didn't do well with it. But it was the baking soda that my hair was not responding to. But the ACV, I have to tell you, I even, if you're a patron, I treated myself to some really nice, Aveda shampoo and conditioner, maybe a month ago, 2 months ago. And I thought that would help my hair get all the stuff out of my hair. There's just a buildup, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, this is the stuff that's going to do it. Well, it didn't. Well, it did for a while, and then it started building up again. I get buildup on my hair, and I just can't get it off. There's nothing I could do. One treatment of ACV, and it's I feel like I have new hair.
That's awesome.
I know.
Your hair does look really shiny now.
It's the ACV. That's what it is. It's the vinegar.
That's amazing. Are you doing it whole, straight, or are you cutting it with water?
I just did it straight after. I did use shampoo, and then I just put it straight in my hair after that.
Okay. Wow. And then you rinse it.
Oh, yeah. Not much, though. I don't use a ton. I didn't use a ton, so.
Yeah. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you would like to follow us on social media, we would love that. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Homeschool Unrefined. We do have that closed Facebook group called Unrefined Homeschoolers. And we have our website, homeschoolunrefined.com, where you can find links to everything that we talked about. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.
Homeschool Unrefined is created and produced by Maren Gorse and Angela Sizer. Ethan Miller is our editor, and Amanda Ginn is our VP of all the important things.